welcome to the Tenn and 2 podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Catlin.
And we're here every week talking watches, photography, adventure, and exploring the world of horology. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Kat?
We've had a lot of recordings today.
So many recordings.
This is our last one.
Maybe
Maybe we can make it through it.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
It's good. We just have a lot of recordings every week, apparently. Now.
We do. And you're going out of town next week, so we are trying to get a couple of things done while you're in studio. And
in studio sounds so freaking official, by the way.
It does. I like the way that sounds. I'll have to say that more often. So this is a Friday episode, and that means we have another watch review coming to you today.
I'm excited about
one
this
that we've been talking about this for like ever. And I'm sorry, Norqain, you guys have probably been waiting for this review. But yeah, it's the Norqain Adventure Lady Sport.
Yep.
Super excited
about it because this is also the watch that will be our very first YouTube watch review.
It will be. And slash video. And we didn't really pick this watch other than the fact that it was around the time, like we picked it because we were like, let's do a YouTube review. We just happened to have this was probably the only watch we had in at the moment, I would say. So we stuck with it, and they gave us a little bit of extra time with it too, which was really nice.
Thank you, Norqain.
Thank you. But we didn't really specifically go out to choose a ladies watch. It just happened to be what we have, and you'll find out as we talk about it on the show that this watch is not just for ladies too. So this can work. It is titled ladies, but I equally think this watch could work on a man. So
100% agree. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about the history, a little bit about the specs, and then we'll get into the good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So Norqain is actually one of the newer Swiss watch brands that have been around. They were actually founded in 2018. But that doesn't really mean they're new. So the whole family comes from a line of watchmakers and people who have worked in the watch industry. The founder actually used to work for Breitling.
Wow.
So there's a lot of experience behind the brand.
And that's probably why they've gone so far in so little time.
Right. So in 2 years, they're in over 80 retailers worldwide, including Hodinkee. And I feel like
that's big time.
I feel like if Hodinkee there's a certain amount of clout that comes, with a Hodinkee endorsement, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because Hodinkee is like for watch enthusiasts. So if they're willing to put their name behind your brand, then obviously it means that they believe in this brand, they believe in this product. Yeah. So I think that it really says a lot for Norqain and what they're doing. It's just a really neat brand. I first saw the Adventure Sport Lady on Instagram. I remember sending you the post about it. So really excited that they've reached out to send us one of these pieces in for review.
Absolutely.
So we are reviewing the Adventure Sport Lady. Now, the particular model that we had was the white dial on the white rubber strap. Keep in mind, this dial comes in tons of different color options, including there's a really great blue dial as well. There's like a gray color. And then all of them are available on either a rubber strap or there's a stainless steel bracelet that fits them as well. So just keep that in mind. But so for specs, let's get into some of the details.
Yeah.
So the watch that we had was set in stainless steel case. It was a 37 millimeter case that's 11.5 millimeters thick. And so this is for their quote unquote lady. But if you look at the men's piece, it's actually 42 millimeter. And then all of the rest of the specs are the same when it comes to movement, when it comes to details, things like that, which I absolutely love because we talk about all the time. Just take a man's watch, make it a little bit smaller, and that's what we want in a ladies' watch. Don't make it
necessarily a quartz. They have an automatic movement. It's finished the same. Yeah. And it's just smaller, which, again, is what we appreciate.
For sure. It has 100 meter water resistance with a screw-down crown, ceramic unidirectional bezel, 60-minute counter, double AR coating, sapphire crystal. It has an exhibition case back that shows off their movement as well, which is the Norqain NN09. Based off of the ETA caliber 2824. So
yeah, and it was finished very well for a watch at this price point. So the rotor was almost in this rose gold tone. Just a really nice finish. And if you're buying this for someone, especially maybe a lady that's not totally into watches, I think that's a feature that almost anybody's going to appreciate because I do like, I don't know why, I can't tell you why, but I like when the rotors are different. Like I like when Oris does their red rotors. I just like it. It's a little bit fancier. I'm just drawn to it. aesthetically.
For sure. No, most definitely. And I think having that exhibition case back is a great way to kind of get people more interested in mechanical watches in general. So with the display, you're going to have a traditional 3-hand display with a quick date as well. 38-hour power reserve. So on the side of the case, on the opposite side of the crown, there's actually a plate on the side that is... If you buy it in store, it's going to be engraved Norqain, but you can actually have it custom engraved too. And we talked about this on our Mother's Day episode. Yeah. We talked about like some of the possibilities as far as having it engraved, and that, you know, it's a cute idea, and it kind of just brings something a little bit more personal.
Yeah, I don't think it's a negative of the watch, although I can see why people don't like it. Some people will just prefer without a plate altogether, and I get it. I get that aesthetically it might draw off from the case design, but it didn't bother me that it was there, I guess I should say, at least with this size of a watch. Now, if maybe we had the bigger one, it might have been a little different, but yeah, I think as a gift option, it's phenomenal to have that.
For sure.
Yeah.
The dial, of course, it had a white dial. We discussed that earlier. The dial is really neat because it has this mountain pattern that almost looks like carbon fiber, but it's not a carbon fiber dial. And so the mountains tie into Norqain and their ideology. They just kind of design every watch to have some sort of resemblance of the Swiss mountains in there. So I think that's really neat. It had applied indexes with luminescence on the indexes and the hands. On the strap, it is $1,810. On the bracelet, it is $1,990. Now, the case is fully polished, so it's all polished case. And then if you do the bracelet is fully polished as well.
Yeah. Cool.
That's it, right?
You got it all.
All the specs. Oh, man. I need a water.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So if you haven't listened to one of our review episodes before, which I hope you guys all have, that's basically all the facts. So what we're going to do is Kat and I are enthusiasts. Above anything, we are enthusiasts. We are passionate about this hobby. We are passionate about collecting. And so we have 5 questions that we ask ourselves if we are really considering buying a watch. Yeah. So we're going to go through those, and these are our opinions. So first of all...
Well, before we jump into it, just want to say, just to put it out there, we're not getting paid to talk about Norqain. This watch was sent in to us for review. We reviewed it. We sent it back. That's it.
The end.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end. So just want to put that out there.
All right. Okay, so let's get into first question is what is our favorite and least favorite feature about the watch? Let's start with our favorites because we always like to start on a positive.
Yeah.
So Kat, what is your favorite thing about the Norqain?
So my favorite thing about this watch is the size. So for me, I like divers. I've liked divers for several years now. Since I've been in this hobby, my first automatic watch was an SKX 013, which is a small 38 millimeter dive watch. There's not a lot of options for anybody with smaller wrists in the dive watch section. There's nothing I'm not going to say nothing. There's not a lot under the 39 millimeter range.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe because the demand's not really there, it's more of a lady size, smaller wrist size. But that's my favorite thing about this watch. I'm glad that someone finally said we need a smaller watch for smaller wristed people. Now, I'm going to go back and forth on them calling this a ladies sport. I really, really wish they didn't call it ladies because of the other color options. They have a blue dial, and I think it would work great on the blue rubber strap on a man.
Oh, for sure.
So that's my only and then that's not my negative, but I don't like that they called it a ladies. I would have rather seen mid-size or something else on there, and then have the larger size. But I'm glad. I'm finally glad that someone said, hey, we need smaller dive watches, and here they are. And there's a ton of options too.
Yeah. Well, and it's not only the case size, the thickness of it. It was so comfortable. And maybe I'm used to my dive watches.
Yeah, I think we're just used to like our huge dive watches.
Not thin by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. They're a little thick. But 11.5 millimeters, it was super comfortable on the wrist. It just fit really well. I never felt like it was so big and bulky that it was like it was heavy or that it would hit things randomly. No, I really do. I agree. The size is phenomenal.
So what about you? What's your favorite thing?
I actually really like the dial pattern, and I did not think I would because I'm not a fan of like overly patterned dials typically, and I thought that it really had, in photographs, it looks very carbon fiber, and I've seen carbon fiber dials, so just not my cup of tea personally. But it's a slightly different pattern than carbon fiber because it is made to be more mountain shaped, and it's really subtle and discreet. but then in certain lightings, it really pops. And I just kind of like that little bit of the personality. I thought that it would look too busy or too cliche, like just trying too hard to be like a mountain scenery on it.
Yeah.
But it really is. It's very soft. It led to a really nice contrast between, you have like the really high polished applied markers. And so it was a really nice contrast between that and the white dial with the texture and the pattern.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
All right. So least favorite.
Least favorite.
What is your least favorite feature about this watch?
I actually have a couple of things I want to bring up.
Okay.
Not that they're super like negative things, but one, I don't like the way that they did their text box around Norqain and then the automatic that's on the dial. Okay. So they have like it's not applied. Well, it is applied, but it's applied to like a text box. You know, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's a flat white background it takes away from that texture that you just described, the texture of that carbon fiber that's on the watch. And I don't know, it just kind of throws it off aesthetically for me. And then the second thing, and this was a really, really big negative for me, was the loom. The loom just, it just wasn't there for me. And for a watch at this price point, I really think that they could do a little bit better in the brightness of the loom. It didn't stay lit at all. So that was a disappointment for me.
And that's fair enough. And again, that's something that we nitpick because we have dive watches. You know, we have a big selection of dive watches personally. That's what our collections are heavy, consistent of. So we definitely both nitpick loom quite a bit. So
all right,
I would agree.
What about you? What was your least favorite thing?
My least favorite feature about the watch, personally, I'm not a fan of all polished cases. Only, especially for like a more sports watch.
Yeah.
It didn't look bad, but like it really was pretty. It looks very nice, and I'm not saying that it really is a personal thing. I prefer more brush finish
or a mixture
because I'm rough, and I don't want to like notice every single scratch that I put in on the watch.
See, that's funny because I think that I notice the scratches less when it's all polished versus the brushed. I feel like I see those brushed.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
no,
that's just me.
No way.
I know, like even the Grand Seiko I had. There was a couple of micro scratches on it, and I could hardly see them. You know, maybe scratches on my Monta clasp or my Tudor clasp. I can see those right away because they go against that brushed grain. That's just me, though.
Okay.
My opinion.
We're going to agree to disagree. You're like, my opinion. You can't judge me for my opinion. We're going to agree to disagree.
That's fine.
And move on.
Yeah.
Because
but you made a valid point, and I think that this watch might work more so for a man had it had some more brush finishing on it too. True. I think the all polish kind of makes it a little bit more feminine.
But on the rubber strap, it would be fine.
Yeah.
But if you were to do the all polished case and the all polished bracelet,
it's a bit much.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a lot of shininess. It's a lot of shiny,
a lot of bling.
But yeah, no, I mean, and again, that's just me being nitpicky about what I personally like.
We're allowed to be picky.
We are, right?
We're picky about everything. Yeah, except for food.
Except for food. Okay, so let's talk about versatility. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank the versatility?
I gave this watch a 6.
Why?
Well, I gave it like a 6/7.
Why?
Because I feel like this watch is really now. Okay, I'm gonna go back for a second. I gave this watch a 6/7. On the rubber strap we had, okay? So the version that we had in hand. And I think this watch is really sporty. It's got a stark white dial, rubber strap. I personally just don't see it being dressed up a lot. I think on a bracelet, though, it can be dressed up. So again, this is all my opinion on the rubber strap. So if you're buying it on the rubber strap, I feel like it would work better with casual situations, sporty, working out, all of those. And I know you wore it in a dress and a summer dress. And I think that's fine. But anything more dressy than that, I just don't see this working.
Oh, yeah. Like, I wore it with a cute summer dress. I'm not wearing it with a cocktail
I don't
dress.
see this being in even an office setting either. Not on the strap that we had. So, again, 6 and a 7 based on the rubber strap. Maybe a little bit higher on the bracelet. I think it could work in a few more situations. What about you?
In all honesty, I put it as a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I mean, I think the watch case, we talk all the time, like, don't necessarily buy a watch because of the strap that's on it, because straps can be changed out so easily. So I think when you break it down to the actual case of the watch, like it's thin, so you can put it on different straps and it's going to look very nice. You can put it on different color rubber straps as well because it's so neutral being white. I'll agree. Like on the rubber strap, yeah, you're not going to wear a rubber strap with like a really nice cocktail dress or something like that. I wear rubber straps with suits at work.
Yeah.
But also
you work in a watch retail space.
I'm extra like that. It's fine. Yeah. I just like to be a little bit different. So for me, like I found it to be something that I would wear kind of no matter what. Like I thought that it looked sporty enough that I could wear it with shorts and a t-shirt or with gym clothes. But I did. I wore it with like a cute little summer dress and like some wedges, and you know, it was super cute as well. So,
and I think it works well in those situations. My only gripe is that on the rubber strap, I just don't think it would work in a dressier or maybe office environment. But again, bracelet, you put on a bracelet, it's different.
For sure.
I hate to like judge something on bracelet without actually having seen the bracelet. So I'm just trying to be fair. But I get your perspective.
If you could see the amount of
there's
pointing,
a lot. I know.
Like there's a lot of like pointing at people right now, and
I need to sit on my hands. I'm doing a lot of pointing. My bad.
Okay.
All right. So going into the next question, did you see that I kind of combined these two?
Nope. Sure didn't.
I was wondering if you. Okay, so does this watch suit its designated purpose, and who do you think the watch is for?
Yeah, so I think that it definitely suits its purpose. It's a sport adventure watch. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's
exactly what it's named.
Exactly what it's called. It's not a dive watch by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still water resistant to 100 meters plus a screw down crown, which I think is phenomenal. Yeah. So it's something that can handle any sort of situation you throw at it. I think this is a really great watch that's designed for, you know, for a woman who just kind of wants something that's a little bit everyday and a little bit practical. You know, it's not, now there is a model, like the model actually that I am obsessed with is a two-tone model that has a rose gold bezel.
The black one?
The gray.
Oh, the gray one.
The gray is
I like the black one a lot.
Really gorgeous. The black is really great too. Just all the watches, y'all. All of them. But so, you know, I think it's really designed as being a watch that can be worn every day. It reminds me a little bit of like my Aquaterra in that aspect. Yeah. It's like it's a watch that can look a little dressier if you put it on the bracelet. It can look a little bit more casual in certain situations. It's very neutral, and I like that for an everyday watch. So, and I think especially at the price point, if you're trying to get somebody started into mechanical watches, I think it's a really great option.
Yeah.
What about you? How do you feel?
Or who do you think this watch is for?
Somebody who wants an everyday watch.
Okay.
Answer that, Kat.
My bad.
Me. This watch is for me.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what you said. This is a great everyday watch. I think its designated purpose was to be a watch for ladies that could handle anything you throw at it, and it does exactly that. Yeah. I think this is probably for someone that wants to put something on their wrist. They want to forget about it. They don't want to have to think about it. You can, you know, be washing the dishes, you can be at work, and you can wash your hands. I think this would be a great option, honestly, for anyone that's in a hospital field. I think the rubber strap's easy to clean, having worked in a hospital, highly water resistant. This is like a really tough watch, and one that if I was still in that setting, I would honestly look at strongly, because, and that maybe that's why I like dive watches so much. Never thought about that. But not that you need a dive watch to go wash your hands by any stretch of the imagination, but
I was like, what kind of sinks are you using?
It's high power.
Can we talk about how country you just were with that?
I just realized how bad I said that. And I was like, high.
You're like, it's high power.
I might be editing that out.
I can't wait for Norqain to listen to this review.
So yeah, for the lady that wants a tool watch, but still wants it to be feminine and not so masculine, which is what you find in a lot of tool watches.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think that this watch does suit its purpose. Absolutely.
Awesome. Let's talk about, does it provide a fair value for how much it costs? So when we talk about cost, what was it? It is $1,800 basically on the strap, $2,000 on the bracelet.
Yeah.
So what do you think as far as its value?
I think it sits right there. I mean, looking at a couple of competitive, I didn't look as far as movement, who else is using something similar. I just looked at different watches in that same size range. So you have the Tudor Black Bay 58, $39. This is a 37. So still it's something bigger. You're not really getting that small size.
And it's more masculine.
More masculine. You know, it's like $3,300 essentially. You do have a Christopher Ward Trident Pro, which comes in at 38 millimeters, just under $1,000. Similar type movement. So that's a pretty good value right there. And then you have the Seiko 013 that it's, I mean, a lot cheaper. But again, you're not getting anywhere near the quality. It's a 38 millimeter diver. You have one option, black and white. That's it. So I think Christopher Ward offers a few different options. And then, you know, there's a couple Oris Diver 65s that are smaller as well at 36 millimeters that I think could work. But what about you? What do you think it's a fair value?
So I actually got a ton of questions on what I felt about this watch.
From other people?
Okay. Compared to my Planet Ocean.
Oh, because of the white on white?
White on white.
Okay.
Sporty watch.
Yeah.
Now my Planet Ocean is 42 millimeters and this one is smaller, but there is a 38.
Yeah.
There used to be a 38.5 millimeter Planet Ocean. Now it's a 40 millimeter. And I feel like that's a really tough question for me because I love my Planet Ocean.
I think they're two different watches.
They are very different, but if I liked the look of the Planet Ocean and I did not want to spend $6,000, you could very well spend $2,000 and get the Norqain.
Absolutely.
In fact, like I heavily considered adding the Norqain to my collection at one point.
This one?
I do still really want a Norqain at some point. I'm excited to kind of see what comes out in the future. But it just did not make sense. They're very different, but they're very similar in a lot of ways. Yeah. So I held off. But I think it competes pretty heavy at its price point. I mean, it would be hard for me. I wouldn't say it would be hard to justify spending 3 times more on the Omega because the Omega does have different perks to it.
I mean, the Omega movement, it's a true
it is
dive
very
watch.
Different.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as aesthetics, if you like, I know a lot of women who like the aesthetics of my watch, but maybe don't want to spend $6,000.
Well, I think a lot of women like the white on white. That's just a good look.
So another white on white sports watch that you can look at would be the Tag Heuer Formula One.
Oh yeah,
but it's quartz.
Yeah.
So and it's the same price.
What size is that one?
You know,
is that
would be that research thing that I didn't do.
Is it the ladies though?
It's the ladies.
Oh, okay, so it'll be smaller.
Yeah, so it's the smaller. It is the lady size. They make a white one. But yeah, again, it's quartz. Yeah, not super impressive. So honestly, yeah, I think it provides an awesome value for how much it costs.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad that you brought that up, that comparison between that and the Planet Ocean, because if someone does love the Planet Ocean aesthetic, and there's other dive watches that are white on white too, this is a great option that's smaller, thinner.
Much thinner.
And for someone that doesn't need a full on, because let's be honest, your Planet Ocean it's a thick watch because
it's not thin.
Omega.
I measured it out the other
it's because
day.
the movement. I mean, it's because of that amazing movie, the movement they have inside of that. All right, so last question here. Would this be a watch that gets regular wear and lasts long term in your collection? And then just overall thoughts of the watch?
Yeah, it would, for sure. Sorry. I'm like, yeah. No, I mean, it definitely would. Like, the design, I really like the design. I like the aesthetics. I love the way that this watch sat on the wrist. It was hard for me to kind of get used to the idea of this watch because I am so used to my Planet Ocean. So when I see white on white, like, I kind of, in my mind, I am associated it with my Planet Ocean. But it's thin. It's like the Planet Ocean that probably more women would want because they don't want the big, bulky, thick, heavy watch.
Yeah. We're just crazy.
Yeah, we kind of are. But I mean, it's comfortable. It looks great. It has a phenomenal value. I think one of the cool things about Norqain is right now you're in a position, they're still so new. I think that honestly, here in a few years, they're going to start really, really kind of blowing up. Yeah. And I think that you can get in on a brand like this now and early on, you know, at this sort of price point before everything kind of starts getting a little bit more expensive, as you see with a lot of the brands that we love. Same thing with Manta. You know, Manta is really starting to get to a point where they they can't continue to work with their quality at their price. So, and I think, you know, you're going to see the same thing here. As far as final thoughts, you know, I know a lot of people complain about the plaque on the side. I think it's cute. It can be engraved, especially if you're buying it for a woman. We all like that sentimental stuff. Yeah. And then I think like what you said, echoing you at the beginning, calling it a lady sport adventure. I think the problem is you miss out on your male audience because there is such a demand right now for smaller sports watches, and 37 millimeter. This watch is not small, you know, necessarily by any stretch of the imagination. So
I think that the gender should be taken out of any watch, really, because what if I, you know, and I'll get into my thoughts here. I don't think this size watch is for me because I don't think I like this size dive watch. Okay. Just me personally, but I might like the 42 millimeter size dive watch they offer. So, but now they've labeled it men's. They've labeled this one women, ladies. And because of that, it takes me away from it a little bit. Okay. And I don't like that. I feel like brands nowadays, you should just take the gender out of it because there's ladies that might want the bigger size. Yeah. And there's men that might want 37. I mean, that's not tiny by any means.
No, this watch is not tiny.
No, I have a ton of watches that are around that size and they're all men's watches. So again, that's just a little gripe that I have.
Would it last long term if you were to buy it, or would you wear it pretty consistently?
I don't think that I would buy this watch. Okay. The size was just not for me. I might like the bigger watches, but this one just wasn't for me. I did like the watch. I liked the dial. I was skeptical on the carbon fiber a lot. I didn't like it from pictures. Seeing it in person definitely changed my mind on it, especially on this white. Like it was very
soft.
It was soft. It was like and the white ceramic bezel was in really good shape too. The way that they did the details on it, it was like there was some gray accents on it too. It's just really well done.
It's bright white too,
which
I loved. And I loved the contrast. We didn't talk about, I just love the contrast of the numerals on the bezel. Like you said, they look more gray than silver. Yeah. So it has such a great contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think the white on white is a winner for a lot of women. I think that I'm really excited to see where Norqain goes. They're doing some great big things, and I think we're going to hear a lot about them.
Yeah, no, for sure.
In the next few years, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, they're working on big things that you wouldn't expect a 2-year-old watch brand to do. So we want to take a moment and thank Norqain for letting us have an extended trip with this watch. And we actually also had some experience with one of their other watches, the Freedom 60 chronograph, which is one of their men's pieces. So, you know, the team over there is really great. It's been really cool to get a little bit of a relationship with them and to work with them.
Absolutely. So, I'm excited to see what else we can check out from them in the future, too.
I agree. And y'all, tomorrow, like we're putting it out there.
It drops
tomorrow.
The YouTube video finally drops.
The YouTube video finally drops. And I'm so excited. We worked very hard on this. Kat has been learning all sorts of video editing and super excited. So be sure you are over on our YouTube channel, which is Tenn and 2, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. I should know that. And it's spelled Tenn, obviously, and 2. So be sure you're over there. Leave us some feedback. Pretty please. Don't make us cry, though.
Yeah. On YouTube or?
On YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere else you can make
Everybody's
us cry.
Everybody's mean on YouTube.
I know. It's fine. Just leave us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Send us a DM or an email too, and let us know what you think, because we're just curious to see if you like the way that we do it. We're going to do things a little bit different than a lot of other reviews. So definitely check it out, and be sure that if you want to follow along any of the pictures, anything that we talk about in a little bit more detail, head over to our website, www.tennand2.com. Send us an email, info@tennand2, if you have any other questions or want to get in touch with us about anything. If you want to start writing for our website, anything like that, send us an email. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter @Tenn&2 Media.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Like, throat hurts from saying all that. All right. Well, and that is it, guys. We will be talking to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.